Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I'm going live on TikTok and on YouTube at the same time. So for your viewing pleasure, yes, actually a public live stream on my YouTube channel. Can you believe it? Let's see how this goes. Sentiment is in the gutter, and so I'm thinking numbers should be a little low, which will be nice. It's a nice break. So, what's up, Tyrone? Hello, Bush. Good morning, me. Hello, Saad. I'm live on YouTube today. Compound pump. Did compound pump? Let's see. I mean, looking at the chart, it's nice. I mean, sure, but it's still really just in a range that it's been in for a while. So I don't think anything about that compound pump. YouTube is better. Yes, sir, Will. Markets are down. Markets go up, markets go down. It happens. De-risk for the summer. Leroy, I did just make a video talking about now my holdings, in my holdings, I de-risked only my meme coins that I bought a few weeks ago, the larger cap ones. That's it. And I'm in a position right now. I'm more in stocks, believe it or not. This has just been I've been buying a lot of dividend yielding stocks, and I realized yesterday I'm more in stocks than I am in crypto, so I sleep better at night. But otherwise, I'm holding everything. So GM bro, can you give one reason why we would have an alt season? I don't see any reason for it. Good luck, Harrison. I don't know. You don't look familiar. I've been talking about that possibility for 2 years. I'm one of the few. Now, alt season like 2021, 2018, not at this point in time. An altcoin moment where Bitcoin dominance drops, especially if Ethereum breaks out, we can certainly have that. Yeah. From Monica, Pennsylvania. Okay, Bush. You made a video. Should we start to de-risk? Listen, it depends on how exposed you are. You know, just someone, if I remember correctly, I think you're more on the more exposed side. And so maybe you should. It just depends on your assets. Like my OG utility coins, I'm not touching those. All right, you bought large cap? Yeah, no, large caps, nah. I'm perfectly fine holding on to those right now. Which stocks? So these dividend yielding ETFs. JEPQ is a ticker that I bought a lot of. QQQI, SCHD, MAIN. There's people I follow on X who know a lot more than I do. So let's see. He almost broke out of the bull flag yesterday. Yeah, give it some time. You know, especially on a down data like today, it's like, yeah, it's going to be frustrating. But it's time. We're getting there. You know, let's see some green days here. And this is HEEHEE month. What does that mean? That means HEEHEE is going to outperform the market, and we're doing a giveaway this month. If you buy 1 Solana worth of HEEHEE, you can do multiple entries. But if you buy 1 Solana worth of HEEHEE, you'll be entered into a raffle. First prize gets 500,000 HEEHEE tokens. Second prize gets 300,000, and third prize gets 200,000. So, all right, man, I'm caught up on YouTube and TikTok. Time of the sign of the times. What if I buy 1K in one click? It will count as one entry. Yes, it will. Yes. So why not buy in 6 clicks or 7 clicks? Will Moonpig go back up? Moonpig? Is this chat subscriber only or so member only on YouTube? I've never heard of Moonpig. Let me oh, it is a member only. Never mind. All right, we're switching to subscriber only. So for everyone on TikTok, I am live on YouTube. World War Bitcoin. Much better viewing experience there. Now, all right, Moonpig, I have no idea what Moonpig is. What in the world? So James Wynn, dude on gambling with $100 million on X, he's insane. I don't know. This is too new of a cryptocurrency. Do I think Pepe will hit 30 billion this year? That's like a 6x from where it is now. It's possible, but no. Hello, Redemption. Yeah, the chat on YouTube isn't members only. I just switched it to subscribers. Subscribers can chat. Did you read de-risk TIE? I did not. No, I just made a video about that a couple days ago. That's not one that I would de-risk. So Pepe, a 6x from here, sure, it's possible. I tend to think not. ICP, I've been saying for a while, ICP is has been underperforming the market, and I expect it to continue to underperform. Powerball, I have not looked into Powerball. I don't know anything about it. Do you think Ondo can make it to the top 10? It's possible. Yeah, you got to worry about inflation with Ondo, though. So, all right, how am I feeling about LCX? The floor has risen. Here's the thing. I want to be holding some LCX because look at what happened in November. I mean, it just went wild. And at some point, if and when things ever get hot again, LCX will go wild again. But today, who knows? XRP, pretty much the same argument as LCX. I hold some XRP. I'm doing just fine holding my XRP, even though it lost the 200-day. It's just in a range. And I would expect XRP to do the same thing at some point, to just go wild. But, probably it would probably be around the time that people are most wanting to give up on XRP. So what about Zebek? I would still not touch Zebek right now. It was explosive. It's down from its peak 30%. It can definitely go lower from here. I don't even know where I would even begin to start to load up, because after what would most likely come next is a bit of a chop with Zebek. Positive is Ondo. They're trying to bring treasuries to the blockchain. That's a huge positive. That's a massive, massive deal. And you know who wants treasuries on the blockchain? The United States government. So ABT, I don't know. I've given up on ABT. So maybe it's a fantastic play. Arc block. I already talked about Pepe. I hold some Pepe. I think, that's the number one meme coin that I think you should hold when things get really hot, because that's a no-brainer. Hello, Bull. Let's see. Do you think Link could go parabolic like XRP did? Nah, Link's a slow mover. I mean, it had DeFi summer of 2020 and people got really excited about it, but ever since then, Link's just been a much slower mover than the rest of the market. I don't think, what do you define as parabolic? Could it go to $50? Sure. Doge still a hold. I'm definitely holding Doge, yeah. Moonchain, I don't know anything about Moonchain. Let me look at Aerodrome real quick. All right, it's starting to get a little hot here. Man, I'm still not all that excited about holding Aerodrome, especially now. I mean, all right, guys, a lot of altcoins are in downtrends. They're in downtrends. They've entered new downtrends. Now the total altcoin market cap is still in an uptrend, but the others market cap, the outside of the top 10, that is in a downtrend. So what's your mindset? My mindset is I'm comfortable holding large caps still. I'm not as comfortable holding smaller caps. Yeah, but Doge is still a hold. Doge is top 10. Brett is one that's in a downtrend. I sold all of my Brett last week, and I'm waiting to buy back in. Could it do something like this? For those on my live stream on YouTube, World War Bitcoin, head over there and hit the subscribe button. You know, could it do something like this where it just goes right back down to its recent bottom of like 2.5 cents? I'll buy a lot. I'll buy a lot at 2.5 cents for Brett. Jasmy is another one that I would just say is, let's see, Jasmy. It's in a downtrend. Right now is a good level to get in, but I just do that for a scalp. So Alephium and Tectum, no thank you. Zero interest in those right now. Now Injective looks okay, although it might be forming a head and shoulder here. So it's not in a downtrend. It's very close, and it might be putting in a lower high here. That's one I'd hold on to a little bit for now. Good morning, One Red Mike. By large cap, do you mean like within top 50 coins? For the most part, yeah, top 50. Unless it's a meme coin. Well, no, unless it's a meme coin not named Pepe or Doge. So I've seen people say end of the year is when the top will be. Do you think this summer is going to be the top or end of the year? The way it's shaping itself out right now, top is not going to be now. And if you're going to give me those two options, I guess I'll say end of the year. Again, I want to remind you guys, I have not been of the mindset that the end of the year was going to be this massive blow off top. Whatever the peak for Bitcoin is in 2025, I think it will go higher in 2026 or 2027. We are in a new territory, and I say that with a great deal of confidence. But sure, if you're going to choose between now and the end of the year, I'll say end of the year. Especially considering the fact that it looks like the stock market is putting in a V-shaped recovery. So that's a good sign for the remainder of the year. How long do you think this downtrend will last? Maybe the rest of the month. Yeah, S&P looking like a V-shaped recovery. It looks like it. How about Blockchain? Yeah, that sucked. They fumbled it. Let's move on. Any insight on Flare? I don't know what Flare is. All right, Proppy, Fartcoin. Let me look at Proppy. Fartcoin, I sold my Fartcoin last week, okay? There'll be a time I'll definitely want to reload on that. Proppy still looks bullish. It looks okay. This is one that I would not be trying to exit right now. So should I wait to break even? Oh, foregone. Uniswap has to get up to 685 for you to break even. How? Did you FOMO or something? Looking at Uniswap, it looks like it's yeah, sure. Wait till 685. It doesn't look like it's going to go all that much lower than where it is right now. Is Ondo a safe long-term investment? There's no long-term investment in crypto other than Bitcoin. All right, Sonic, I'm assuming you're talking about FTM, Will. And not Solnick. If this is the right chart, it does not look good. Don't you think a big red candle will form in Bitcoin in 2026? You must be new. I see that you're not new, actually. Again, guys. No, my point of view is being challenged right now. We're in this weird territory where there is a scenario where I could see us peaking at the end of 2025, but I'm telling you, like, at least with Bitcoin, I don't see a compelling argument given the level of acquisition this time around. This is much different than 2021, that we might just take the stairs up the entire time. Now, I do think that there is a day when the crows are going to come home to roost. Given where everything is with the economy, and then at that time, it's going to be a big red candle for Bitcoin. Is that going to be 2026? Is that going to be 2027? The thing that I've come to find is that things move a lot slower than what I tend to think. So who knows? Does it still make sense to have HEEHEE giveaway this month? We're doing the HEEHEE giveaway this month, Rockfort. And, you know, the market can turn on a dime. The whale offered where this is HEEHEE month. And all that I said, the only thing that I said is that HEEHEE is going to outperform the market. Saw your video on TAR's AI exit strategy. Would love for you to break down how you decided entry level and exit levels. It's pretty simple, Mike. It's just a fib chart. If you look at that video again, all my exits are fibs. So my take profit number 1 was the lowest fib level, the 236. Next take profit's the 382. The next take profit's the 0.5. ETH's top price chart looks good. Yeah, ETH is our best hope right now. It's the most important chart in crypto, and seeing Bitcoin under 105, but ETH still holding up at 26. It's like the floor keeps rising for Ethereum. I am hopeful. So the thing that I talked about in that video, a video I think I made yesterday with Ethereum, is I think it's going to take about 3 weeks to break through resistance. 2717. Oh my goodness. 2717, I don't know if you guys can hear that, but I'm going to keep going. 2717 is a huge level of resistance. We've tried breaking through it now on 3 different occasions, haven't been able to break through. And so, but while this is happening, I think a lot of altcoins are going to bleed. So maybe 2 to 3 weeks for Ethereum to break through. Altcoins will bleed during that time. Foregone is very popular on your live streams. Yeah, this has not been a fun run. That's right. Thoughts on White Rock? I still don't know. You know, I've heard rumors it's the same team as Syncus. That's enough for me to just avoid it. What wouldn't a summer pump be max paying for all retail who got flushed out by Trump tariffs? Maybe. I mean, I'm open to a summer pump. That's why I haven't sold all of my crypto. That's why I did not entirely, at least, sell in May and go away. I've drawn fibs from December highs to April lows for exit points. First exit was 236, which most have hit. Yeah. Cool, thanks. Crypto exit strategy is a popular search term you can take advantage of by making a video on the subject. I've done that. So, Bitcoin about to dump. Why? Guys, you got to be watching my YouTube videos, okay? I have some very important metrics in those videos. I share a lot of data in those videos, and here's what the data is pointing to now. Short-term holders were a lot of the selling pressure that we saw from 112 down to under 104, and they are pretty much exhausted. And so if we're going to get any kind of increased selling pressure, it's going to have to come from something else, which it's usually short-term holders which drive that. So maybe there's something, maybe there's some kind of big fear event that will loom on the horizon that will really scare people into dumping their crypto. Otherwise, you know, I don't see us going all that much lower. Now, all that much lower, meaning like, you know, could Bitcoin go under $100,000 again? Sure, it could. And that's what we call Tuesday in crypto. I think Zeus is about to correct her rocket. I don't know. It's just been hanging around, you know. Flares number 64, 1.3 cap. Yeah, I still don't know enough about it. ETH dollar topped the cycle. Listen, in early 2024, I made a price target video, $11,689. I am not married to that anymore. In August of 2024, I started changing my perspective, and I threw in the towel with my price targets, thinking that either they were way too low or way too high. In other words, and that the timeline wasn't going to align with the typical 4-year halving cycle. So could Ethereum hit 11,689 between now and the next halving in 2028? Sure. You know, but if you're asking for that price target for November of 2025 or something like that, no, I have no price target. ETH to the moon, XRP already talked about it. Zebek already talked about it. I'm sorry, guys. Are we ever going to see any alt season? Yes, we will. great deal of certainty. But when? When is the question? Again, right now, no. And even on the horizon, I don't really see like the alt season, like full blown alt season. I see moments. I don't see alt season. At some point, the stars will align. Rates will be lower. The money printer will be turned on. And there will always in this fiat currency scam environment, there will always be extreme euphoria and extreme despair. It will be nothing but extremes. I mean, I shouldn't say nothing but extremes, but that's just how the markets have worked to varying degrees since 1913 when the Federal Reserve was created. And so, yes, no doubt, there will be an alt season. But if you're asking for June of 2025 or July of 2025, or even for 2025 in general, like, I'm not as confident about that. What about TARS you still holding? Yes. Your videos are amazing. Thank you. Gala, there's nothing about Gala that makes me want to hold it right now. Well, no, let me back up. There's nothing about Gala that makes me want to hold it for massive short-term gains right at this moment. Way too inflationary. Terrible tokenomics. Now, looking at the chart, it's close to an entry if I were to want to buy some and hold on to it for, I don't know, a month or so. Probably make some money on that. Thoughts on White Rock? I already talked about White Rock. Zeus is on base. No, Zeus is on ETH. ETH is the worst coin ever. You're not wrong about that, but it will still do stuff. Alex, do you think bear market before 2026, which you said would be a great opportunity? Fake pandemic, the big thing that I'm saying right now is I want to see where the stock market goes. We are still in this territory where it's like, okay, if the S&P 500 is going to have a V-shaped recovery, if the NASDAQ is going to have a V-shaped recovery, then I see a reason for this run to continue, for it to have an irrational pump, because it doesn't make sense. There are so many signs pointing to the fact that the stock market, the crypto market should crash really hard. But I am wondering if we're in a similar period to 1998. In 1998, there was a moment when it looked like it was just straight up over. Like it was over. But then what happened? V-shaped recovery had another year, more than a year of a blow-off top in the stock market. And so it may be that that's what comes next. But listen, there's going to be a time at some point when we're going to have to pay the penalty for what's going on right now in the bond market. It's insane. Because, I know what Trump wants. Trump wants to print. He wants to lower rates. He wants to inject a lot of confidence in the market. And that is a short-term play that's just going to cause more pain later. It's either we either have to crash or we have to print like crazy. There's no in between. And so if this is a V-shaped recovery and it's the latter, or that we're just going to print like crazy, okay, irrational pump, a pump that makes no sense. Maybe that's what's next. Yeah, GS Dave, I'm a huge believer in the irrational pump. Trump creates an irrational environment and things could change on a dime. There won't be a time to ape in, so I'm holding most of my bags. I'm holding most of my bags. Guys, I de-risked $7,000 or something like that. I'm not talking about de-risking a lot. I just didn't want to be holding my Solana junk coins. Again, guys, I'm live on YouTube. World War Bitcoin. Much better viewing experience there. I'm looking at charts. You can see the charts. Have you sold some Bitcoin? 0%. 0%. What's your thoughts on 6.7 now? You made a video about a chart a week or so ago. 6.7, you mean 7.5? July 5th? That was a total hypothetical. I was not married to that. Where can I find when you talk about White Rock? No, I just really haven't talked about White Rock at all except for live streams. VeChain, please. I think VeChain's going down to a little under 2 cents. I looked at that chart a few days ago. I have a long set. I have a short set at 2.655 cents. And I have a long set at 0.01913, so 1.913 cents. Do you see low cap RWAs running hard when alt season hits? I like RWAs. We need lots and lots of excitement, but have you ever heard of LTCN? LTCN, no. Ondo a good buy. I think it's going to... Oh, you're talking about grayscale Litecoin? I doubt it. I don't know. Like, Ondo is a good buy, but I think short term it's going to bleed a little bit. Pepe Coin. I mean, if it's on TradingView, I'll look it up. Let's see Pepe Coin. No. I don't see any signs of life in this. The OG Zeus is on base? Oh, okay. Sorry if you explained, I've just joined, but do you think we should sell? Watch my most recent video. Not financial advice. Haven't we already made a V-shaped recovery, or how much higher does it need to go? Maybe I'm just being a little bit of a pansy. Don't be suspicious. I mean, looking at the Dow Jones, so the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ have crossed every major retrace. So maybe it is a V-shaped recovery. Now, I am talking about in the stock market, not in Bitcoin. The Dow Jones still has some work to do. So just keep that in mind. I mean, Dow Jones is right at the 200-day, kind of broken through the 200-day moving average. I'd love to see more up thrust in the Dow Jones. So let's see. What do you think the Tau bottom will be? Let me look at the Tau chart. Printing is coming. Yeah, but probably on a longer timeline than most crypto bros are willing to. Okay, one red mic. I'll look at the chart. Man, all right. So where's Tau going? Low confidence entry at 354. Maybe even as low as 259. It looks very distributive. So, all right. Is White Rock on? Yes, it is. It's on TradingView. Oh, my goodness. Oh, wow. I had no idea this chart looked like this. So White Rock is still doing their thing. That's over $1 billion in market. That's got to be like $2 billion. So, I mean, look, all right. 786, it's right at the 786 right now. Maybe that's holding a support. But I wouldn't be surprised if White Rock kind of did this thing where it just kind of grinded down and then chopped for a bit and then, made another leg higher. So thank you for the super chat there. If XRP ETF gets approved, you think we'll see a pump? ETH ETF was approved and we didn't see all that much. I mean, we saw a little bit of excitement, but not all that much. I need a small altcoin pump to get out of underperforming BS. Don't we all? Trump is my boy, but he only cares about short term, doesn't care what happens when he leaves. 100%. Could you check KETA? What is KETA? What's a good timing to invest in stocks / dividend stocks, wait for pullbacks? With stocks, I'm more of a just buy and never sell. That's my mindset. Buy and never sell. Unless, there's this one stock called HIMS. It's a healthcare stock, supposed to be like the Netflix of healthcare. And I bought it with that mentality, and then it more than doubled from when I bought in. And I was like, man, I'm just going to sell and hopefully buy back at a lower price. I really like that stock. So KETA, I mean, I don't know what to say about KETA. The black man's Litecoin. What? Oh, Litcoin? What? All right. I'm just going to move on. KETA is too new of a chart for me to analyze. I don't know if this is a meme coin or if it's something else, The chart's moving higher. It's just very, very strong pumps and then dumps. I'd rather not touch it, rather not play with that kind of fire. Adam, what's up with Adam? I did label that as a buy a few weeks ago. Yeah, it's just chopping. Now's not a bad time for Adam. It's very close to the bottom of its Bollinger's. And the bottom, like kind of, forming a base at a higher low. I don't mind Adam at this moment. And then Caspa, early 2024, I gave a price target of $1.07 for Caspa. I like Caspa. It's gone down a lot since this recent run up, but I tend to think that we're pretty close to a good entry. I haven't sold any of my Caspa. I bought some Caspa. I'm down on it. I just haven't sold any of it. So GPU Node AI, man, I made a video about that when it launched, and then it went really high, and then I haven't paid attention to it ever since then. And there's really nothing. Thank you, Suki. You've always been very supportive. There's really nothing about the chart that excites me. GPU, I got nothing for you. I'm very wary of 2024 utility because a lot of it was just a straight up money grab. What about the regular Pepe? Talked about it a ton. Sorry, I got to move on. BCHG. What is BCHG? Bitcoin Cash British Pound. I've got nothing for you, man. Slow and steady wins the race. Sure. Bitcoin will be 1 million next 10 to 15 years. Alts are cooked. Both those statements might be true. Now, not all alts. I think that some of them will rise from like a phoenix from the ashes. Did you see Metaplanet stock? Yeah. Long-term VeChain. VeChain's on a short list of cryptos. If I was forced to hold a crypto long-term, VeChain would be one of those. I've done plenty of research on VeChain. All of their metrics, real-world use case, all of their metrics are slowly growing over time. So, Veracity, I think VRA is way too hyped up. It does have explosive moves and then it dumps again, So maybe you want to buy it now, sure, but I'm not too excited about VRA. XCN, Velo price prediction. I don't have it. Velo. Could XRP be a total scam? A lot of cryptos are total scams. There's nothing that sticks out about XRP that would make me call it a total scam. In as much as, whatever. XCN, AVAX long-term. AVAX has potential long-term. But it seems like there's, my fear with AVAX is, SUI didn't exist in 2021. When I thought about potential ETH killer layer ones in 2021, Solana, Cardano, AVAX, the list was pretty short. Now, SUI has come, and I feel like there's always going to be another SUI. And what's AVAX ever going to do? We need to see more adoption on their network. Yeah, Velo, man, I don't have a price prediction on Velo, but let me look at XCN. Did you sell your Bitcoin? No, I didn't sell my Bitcoin. Where did you hear that I sold my Bitcoin? There's no way I'd sell my Bitcoin at $105,000. Man, XCN's really interesting. I'm liking the chart right now, but it can chop like this for a while. Big spike up and then bull flagging. It's been quite a long bull flag. So, all right, Akash. Reminder, everybody, if you buy one Solana worth of HEEHEE at any point in June and you're still holding at the end of the month, you'll automatically be entered into a raffle. You could win 500,000 HEEHEE tokens, 300,000, or 200,000. All right, Akash. It's in a downtrend now. I wouldn't expect it to go all that much lower than where it is right at this moment. Akash had a good run for a few weeks there. Maybe for Akash, somewhere around $1.14 would be a good entry. It's $1.34 right now. Who's having a party? Yeah, you guys can hear that. Thank you, Fake Crypto Wendio, for the follow. I really appreciate that. There's a wedding in this building that I'm in, and they're setting up. They've been here all week. Wedding's on Saturday. I'm high on Pudgy Penguins and Luca Nets' building. Have you looked at it? I have not Oh, what Luca Nets is building. Yeah, listen, I heard of Pudgy Penguins for the first time in 2021, and I'd never touched them, and I've been crying ever since then. They are the textbook example of what NFT building should be. And so Pudgy Penguins, Pengu, the token, both of those have a lot of potential. Thoughts on Pinlink? Olga, I've looked at Pinlink charts plenty. It's just chopping. At some point, it'll break out and at least do a retrace. It could be a day from now. It could be a month from now. Only 500,000 in JEPQ and you'll be set for life. LOL. That'll be $8,000 a month in dividends. You know, I like that. Now that doesn't mean I'd be set for life, but you know, I can't even de-risk, man. I'm down 60% today and had a panic attack and slept 1 hour. You are exactly the person who should de-risk. Michelle Obama is a man. I know it sucks to be down 60%, but you know the saying with altcoins, they can go down. However, if they've gone down 90%, they can go down another 90%. I got to move on. You have to stop. You have to do something. All right, Lofi. What's on Lofi? It's on the SUI network. I don't know what you mean. Lofi's looking a lot better than I thought it would after that Cetus hack. And Sand Metaverse, not interested. Metaverse was we had these fake dreams of Ready Player One in 2021. We're so far off from that. No, thank you. Nothing. I don't want anything to do with Metaverse cryptos. Is Arweave dead? No. I just remember a mint layer bot still holding a bot at the same time. I sold my mint layer several months ago. I think I sold it at a loss. Thoughts on Athena? I don't know a ton about Athena. I know it's a very large market cap already. It looks pretty bottomed out. You know, it looks like there's potential here for something. So you just have to take profits. I'm only down 70% overall. No current alt holdings. Or you just have to sell at a loss. Like I've sold at a loss. I think I've sold cryptos at a loss. Like the meme coins that I bought 2 or 3 weeks ago, I'm pretty sure I sold those at a loss. Whether it's a loss or a break even, I felt a little overexposed to the market. It felt like, yeah, maybe sell in May and go away is a thing again this year. And what do I want to de-risk? I want to de-risk the ones that are down, that have the potential to drop the most. And that's why I sold, the large market cap meme coins that I bought a few weeks ago. I sold almost all of them. Are you still stacking Bitcoin at these prices? Debating cutting my losses with crap coins and rotating into Bitcoin. A little bit. It's weird. This goes against my logic. I did buy a fair amount of Bitcoin in the bear market, but there's something about what's going on right now that makes me want to continue to accumulate Bitcoin. Just in case, because at some point it is going to break to the upside. I don't know if that's now, but again, guys, do you know that like the estimates for the accumulation of Bitcoin from the spot Bitcoin ETFs in 2026 and 2027, it's actually higher than what we've seen in 2025 and 2024. And if that's how it plays itself out, guys, there's no Bitcoin bear market. There's no bear market. So I am operating under the assumption that there's a Bitcoin bear market. But there's a possibility at least. Have you ever wanted to get into mining with like solar powered? I'm too lazy. Hello, Real Monkey. ETH has been chopping for a month now, but beautiful bull flag, yet no breakout. Correct. Arweave, please, only dead best coin in my portfolio. So Arweave did very well, and I think the dump is exasperated by the fact that it did so well. But yeah, Arweave's been brutal, but still, yeah, I think there's still some hope with Arweave. I mean, it's back. It's still above its bear market bottom levels. Kaka meme, what? Grumpy Cat Solana 20x this month. That's a great reason for me to not buy it. Will XRP ever break through? Yes. I love getting a question like that. Can you check Pendle, please? Is Moodang on Robinhood? I did not know that. I might buy some. So Pendle is one of the strongest charts in crypto right now, but it has broken a trend line. I'm waiting for an entry around $3.38. Do you know what happened to news? They just the market gave them no momentum. They're still trying, I think. M2 money supply chart price this dip in. Yeah, we'll see. I made a chart, or I showed a chart like a week ago. So at some point we got to start climbing again. I know we can agree to disagree on this, but I wouldn't be selling stuff now that is high conviction. No, I completely agree with you on that. You know what's opposite of high conviction? Meme coins. Bitcoin has a good buy up on 4-hour candle. Okay. I mean, I see it back above 105. That's good. Hi, Alex. What do you think of Murad meme theory? I mean, according to his meme cycle, super cycle theory, we were supposed to have a big meme coin explosion by now. And then the big blow off meme coin explosion at the end of this year. So he's already been proven wrong in some sort. Now, I do believe that meme coins in general are the best play for when things get exciting. I mean, in early 2024, meme coins outperformed everything else except for Mantra DAO, and look at Mantra DAO now. Yeah, it depends on the meme. Okay, you have a fair amount of Brett and Whiff. Yeah, those are fine to hold on to, but I did sell my Brett, and I do expect to buy it at a lower price. Thought on LCX. Hold on to LCX. Already looked at it. I'm an investor who watch videos and live daily as though I'm a trader. Okay. All right, Griffane. When I talk about ETH trying to explode, my comments get banned. They don't really want ETH to boom. Okay. Griffane. I don't know what to say. I mean, it had a nice run up in April and May. Now it's down. It's in a downtrend. This could potentially go below its bottom. So, all right, Dave, we're on the same page. Hello, Edward. Appreciate the opinion. Thank you. Thank you, Lewis. Still holding Richard Hart coins. I still have my Hex that I bought in 2020. I bought $500 of Hex in 2020. It went up to $20,000. And now it's down to $166. I made the mistake of staking. Didn't we already see meme super cycle all throughout 2024? I would not say all throughout 2024. I would say that we had a big pump in early 2024, and then something like a dead cat bounce in late 2024. And I don't want to call it a dead cat bounce, but have you sold any percentage of Bitcoin? No. Zebek was a good entry point? No, not yet. Yes, he can easily reach 8 million. All right, Sui could be virtuals on some. You really like Griffane fundamentally? Okay. So I have some Sui. I'm down. I bought and made a bunch of money on Sui. I bought back in at the 200-day moving average. I'm down on it. I think this is going to go to 278. So do I sell and buy back in at 278? I don't know. But guys, reminder, this is HEEHEE month. Daily touch points. If you buy 1 Solana of HEEHEE, you will automatically be entered into raffle. You could win 500,000 tokens, 300,000, or 200,000. All right, NPC on ETH. When ETH catches a bid, could be a good play. I mean, I know about NPC on Solana, but yeah, sure. I mean, I think a lot of ETH meme coins, we have an opportunity with ETH meme coins. Thoughts on Injective? I already talked about Injective. That one looks fine to hold. Dump XRP and buy ETH short term. No, that's too dangerous. Is that trade or spot? It's spot buys, Dave. See the pump phone coin. Any thoughts? Has it launched? They should airdrop people who created coins on pump.fun or something. I want an airdrop. So will poll ever come to life again? We need I'm guessing there's a lot of fake pump.fun coins. So I don't know. Hasn't launched yet? I don't know. Yeah, who becomes Amazon and Google of crypto bubble? No, Mike, how about White Rock? Who becomes the Amazon and Google of the crypto bubble? Here's what I know. Here's what I have a lot of confidence in. Bitcoin Cash, Dogecoin, Litecoin, those will survive. Will they become Amazon and Google? I doubt it. It might be something that doesn't even exist right now. So will Poll ever come to life again? Yeah, how about when things get really hot? Beppe, I'm following it, I'm following it, but haven't seen much in terms of price action. Think LCX will 10x? Nah. Well, $1.30? Yeah, maybe. Hasn't launched. I believe they're trying to raise like I think so. I saw something about like raising 1 billion, 4 billion valuation. It's probably worth 4 billion. Do we even have an e-commerce giant in crypto space yet? I mean, who are the ones that make money? Solana makes money, Ethereum, Tron, Bitcoin. Will bull flag. There we go. He is bull flagging. Hopefully going to break out this month. We need the market to go higher. Disappointed with Ondo and Omni. Any life in these predictions? Ondo, yeah. Market does well, Ondo's going to do well. Omni, I know nothing about. Will ETH/base memes run before Solana memes? No idea. It's possible, but when do you see the S&P rolling over 2026 or around 6,800? I don't really do much TA on the S&P. This looks like a V-shaped recovery. What's special about 6,800? That would be a 1.618 retrace on this. Maybe it's 6,800. Maybe that's it. I mean, look at that. Well, 1.618, 69.64. Maybe that's it. Good morning, Claudio. XEC, man, there's a dinosaur. What's up with XEC? I mean, this is way back. Oh, never mind. It's 2021. I mean, it shows really no signs of life here. I'm not even going to bother drawing a fib. I got nothing for you on XEC. Little dip doesn't feel like a huge surprise. Yeah. Since 2023, we've always seen weakness at the start of most months before unemployment data and other stuff comes out. Okay. Top 3 narratives. Man, Mike, I haven't really paid attention to narratives. So meme coin is certainly on that list. Meme coins, AI cryptos performed very well in this recovery that we've seen since April 7th. That has to be on the list. Gaming, absolutely not. Gaming is for people who are stuck in 2021. Oh man, I wish I was paying attention to AOs. Look at that. It could probably still go down there. You see AOs get to 33 cents. That's a good entry. How come Chainlink isn't worth more? Chainlink's just a slow mover. I've been talking about that a ton. What do you think? Let's see. VeChain potential 10x. Maybe. You guys, I don't know. I don't know why you think what live stream you think you're in, asking me about 10x's. I'm not your guy. You know, you want somebody to you want to go into somebody else's live stream. They'll sell you these dreams of a 10x on a multi-billion-dollar crypto and market cap, then by all means go for it. But there are too many variables this time around. Troll on Solana, never heard of it. Bitcoin will rocket after the 12th of June. I hope you're right. That sounds great. Zebek already talked about it, not touching it. Are you holding your crypto for a potential end of 2025 before you or for longer term vision? Yeah, I feel like I answer a variation of that question like every 10 minutes, and that's not an insult to you at all. And guys, on TikTok, I'm live on YouTube, World War Bitcoin. I've never been of this mindset for this entire cycle that the end of 2025 has to be the period where we reach euphoria. I mean, do you guys remember in December, people telling you, like, I know you guys remember that 2020, the beginning of 2025 was going to be this big explosion in crypto. And it looked like we were heading in that direction. You know, I don't watch any of Calvin Hill, but I've heard people say that Calvin Hill was saying February is going to be this big explosion. And now those people are trying to save face because they're like, all right, you know, it didn't happen in early 2025. So, but just wait, it's going to happen at the end of 2025. And then what if it doesn't happen at the end of 2025? I think a lot of those people are gonna just be in the pits of despair. And why? I know what people are thinking. I know that they're thinking, well, that's how it's always happened. But really, the peak of euphoria in 2021 was in April and in May. 2025 the end of 2021, the total altcoin market cap, total crypto market cap went higher, but the real gains, the life-changing gains were earlier in that year. Think AOs will 10x. Oh, 100x. Did you sell in May and go away? I sold, I think, about $10,000 worth of crypto. That's it. Any thoughts on Chainlink? Slow mover, fat cat, very bullish. What about July or November ISO adoption? I don't know what you mean by that. I like ISOs. I round trip my bet bag down 78%, need a 4x at least. It's possible. Not at 1,000 viewers, not selling out. Do you see a massive pump in the coming weeks? I expect Ethereum to chop for the next 2 or 3 weeks. And once it, if and when it breaks through, then Bitcoin dominance will come down, things will move higher. All right, I'm running a little bit out of steam. Calvin Hill's running out of time. He keeps moving the goalposts. That was happening to Moon Boys. Okay. There's too much going on this year to have a reason to follow past trends. 100%. Yes. That's the thing that I keep trying to remind you guys of. Like, if we peak in November, it's just going to be a massive a massive coincidence. And people are, and I hope we don't peak in November. I hope we peak in 2026. All right, you know what? No. I hope we peak in like August or in 2026 so that people can at least be broken free from this mindset that we have to peak at the end of 2025. Some of you are still in prison. You're still entrapped to this thing, and that's how you're going to get wrecked. You know, I know most of you've heard me rant on that long enough that I think you'll be okay. You just woke up. LOL, you look tired. You tired? I did not sleep well last night. Last night, for some reason, I just had a hard time falling. I usually fall asleep within like 5 minutes when I go to bed. But last night didn't work out. All right, silver's current setup. Silver looks very bullish. I'm not going to look at the chart, Dave. It looks very bullish. Are you still bullish on? No. I know what you're doing. Yeah, thank you for that. Thoughts on GLMR? Not outperforming the market. When was this launched? Was this in 2021? At least it's got some OG-ness to it. No, 2022. It just keeps going lower, putting in lower bottoms. This isn't one that I would touch at all. ISO adoption has always been November 2025. Okay. We'll see. When are we going to blow and get all this over with, exhausted? I'm sorry to say there's no guarantees that it's going to happen. Well, let me back up. I don't think it's going to happen in 2025. And if it doesn't happen in 2025, a lot of people are going to give up. And so maybe then we'll be ready. Okay, Will, I see your comment. For those that have 401ks, make sure you get exposure to Bitcoin ETF. In some cases, you can even buy crypto directly. Yes, sir. It can't stay down forever. Or it could go to zero. I don't even know what it is that we're referring to. What price we need ETH to hit for a pump? We need it to break through 2717 and hold it. Last week there was a night, I was asleep when this happened. It got up to about 2800. And then the sell-off selling pressure brought it right back down. That was sad. Sold Zebek at a gain. That's how you do it. Good entry point, if any, lower than where it is now. I mean, really, man, it's at 0.5 cents, a little over that right now. I wouldn't be interested. Maybe be interested at 0.3 cents. I'd be much more interested at 0.2 cents. You believe in the correlation with global M2 money supply? I've talked about that. I've talked about global M2 in multiple videos. And here's the deal. We tend to correlate with it until it's over. When it's over, we deviate from global M2 big time. Global M2 keeps going up. The price just tanks. So you got to be mindful of that like people are going to follow global M2 now. And they're going to say, you know what? Let's say Bitcoin gets up to $150,000 in 2025, something like that. Well, Global M2 says it's going to be at $200,000 in 2 months. But maybe that's it. Maybe we deviate from that and we just move away. At some point, we're going to move away. In UK, I don't believe we can get Bitcoin in our ISA savings. That's a bummer. Mike, I did talk about Tau. Let me look at the Tau chart again. Low confidence entry at 354, very high confidence entry at 259. You didn't sleep well, solar storms. We still in an uptrend. The total altcoin market cap's in an uptrend. I made Alex laugh. Nice. Solar storms, recently big ones, could affect sleep. Yeah, that or my kids. Usually there's someone's climbing in bed and making the night less comfortable. Oh, he did talk to, okay. We waited 4 years for a pump that will last a month. Yeah, guys, you know that a lot of this stuff is worthless. I'm not telling you something new. A lot of it is worthless. You bought into a worthless asset, except for Bitcoin and a handful of others. And so what do we get from this? We get lots of pain with hopefully some reward. Monetary policy isn't aligned for us to have some massive peak. Did you take notes from all my other live streams from the past 2 years and then just repeat one of my most common sayings? Thoughts on Chainlink? That's a question. It's about time for me to end this. Chainlink again. Chainlink's a slow mover. Should I sell my crypto? Watch my most recent video. I follow you. I'd never give up 2025, but 2026 I will sell mid-year. I hope that works out. Unless it's Vanguard, no Bitcoin ETF. What? ETH is trying it again right now? Where's ETH? Yeah, 26.51. $67 away. All right, guys. I'm sorry. I've got to be done. Thank you, Mike. I already answered about GLMR. That chart looks terrible. All right, have a good one. Will, I'll answer your question here. Oh my goodness. There's this new feature on TikTok that's super annoying. All right, so ETF's buying more ETH. It doesn't look bad. I mean, it's nothing explosive. It's not like they're buying Bitcoin levels of Ethereum, but this is very encouraging to me. It's better than when they launched. I mean, when they launched, we were net negative for 6 months and then finally went net positive. And now we're sloping up. This is definitely encouraging to me. You can see $109 million worth of Ethereum bought yesterday by the ETFs. Let's see what that looks like. All right. So 109.5 million worth of Ethereum. No problem, boat burner ice. Divided by, I'll say 2650. Uh-oh. Equals. Oops. I multiplied it. All right, 41,320 ETH. So how much ETH is created a day? It used to be mined per day. Minted per day. Approximately, before the transition, before the transition to proof of stake, approximately 13,000 ETH were minted to miners per day. However, with the transition to proof of stake, this number has dropped to around 1,700 ETH per day. So, it's hard for me to be bearish on Ethereum right now when it's 1,700 ETH per day that's getting minted, and the ETFs alone bought 41,320 ETH yesterday. And that's been pretty normal for the last couple of weeks here. Now that yesterday was a high day, but 78 million, 70 million, 91 million, 84 million, 38.8 million. So I might tweet this out. I'm probably going to tweet this out. Just for some perspective here. Because especially there's another creator. I'm not going to name him. He's saying Ethereum has peaked $2,700. And it's hard for me to be on board with that when the ETFs alone are buying, all right, 41,320 divided by 1,700. Yikes. Oh, come on. 24.3 times the amount of Ethereum minted yesterday. That's how much ETH they're buying. They bought yesterday at least. So, sounds good. Sounds good to me. All right, anyway, that's all I have for today. Hope you have a wonderful day, wonderful rest of your week. I will see you in another live stream. I'm going to be doing more of these live streams on here. Have a good one.